Good evening, parents and little ones, if you're still awake. Welcome to our online parents meeting. It's the first time I'm doing this, so let's hope it goes well. All technology plays along, but what a privilege to meet with you in this sense. Also, I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody that contributed with questions up to this point, and I hope that in this presentation I'll be answering all your questions that we received during the course of today and yesterday. But I'm going to move over now to a PowerPoint presentation. So you hear my voice, you will just see the PowerPoint presentation now on the screen, and I'll talk you through this PowerPoint. So first of all, again, welcome to St. Patrick CBC's first online parent meeting, and you have the privilege to be the first parents that's listening to St. Patrick CBC's first online meeting. I just want to scroll on to the next page, and there we go. So what is the way forward? With this COVID-19 virus or the coronavirus, as everybody refers to it, what is the way forward at St. Patrick's CBC? And you will note that in the newsletter that we sent out yesterday, we've actually decided to, with the senior management team and with the board, we've decided on 8 stages. And I think it will just make communication with you as parents easier going forward, that you understand when we talk about a stage where we are, that you understand where we are currently, and also the way we will go forward as well. So you will note that we are talking about stage 1 and 2 that we see as still as high alert. Then stage 3 and 4 we call our elevated alert. Stage 5 and 6 are guarded alert, and stage 7 and 8 is our low alert. And I'm just going to discuss all those stages with you as well. So stage 1, we identified that this is currently the stage that we are in, and you will notice that we said stage 1, we've now launched our online learning program. That was, of course, launched on the 15th of April. And we also made the commitment that we will continue running our online learning platform until the end of August. And if we have to continue running it longer than that, we will. We also decided to do it in this sense to assist you as parents, because some of you have the privilege to be at home, and you might not want to, especially when we eventually can say, right, ECD kids can now come back to school. You might not feel comfortable sending your kids back to school at that stage because they can still stay with you, or you might have a nanny at home that they can stay with that stage. But we don't want them to lose out on any learning or on any curriculum. So therefore, we will do face-to-face teaching, and we will classroom teaching, and we'll also do our online learning alternative, which currently, like we do currently. And then also, as you know, part of this stage, we are waiting for the Minister of Education and our President, Cyril Ramaphosa, to give us the go-ahead that we can open the school. We also, you are aware that Minister of Education were supposed to speak today, and that meeting was now postponed, as far as I believe, until later this week. And we will only know when we can open the school once you've made a speech and give us clarity on that. We also know that she will do that in conjunction with Department of Health, and also, as I said, with President Cyril Ramaphosa's endorsement. Then, so that's stage 2. So we will then, as soon as we get to the stage where President Ramaphosa gives the schools permission to reopen after lockdown, we will then move to stage 2. Stage 3, as I said now, we were hoping that the Minister of Education will give us clear guidelines today but unfortunately that meeting was postponed. According to by law, currently we are not allowed to start, even that we are independent, that we are an independent school. We are not allowed to start until the Minister of Education has given us the go-ahead. And you'll see in my third bullet there, we are part of the South African Independent Schools Association, and we are also getting quite a lot of guidance from them. And I've been in many online meetings the last 2 weeks with them as well. But even us as ISASA and a member of ISASA, once again, we are governed by the Department of Basic Education. And we all know that the Disaster Management Act that the President quoted gives them right of way over private and public businesses. So we have to wait for a Minister of Education go ahead before we can start telling you as parents when we will be able to start. Then also, when we go to stage 4, we will then communicate. So soon after stage 3, if they say, for example, we can start on whatever date, then we'll move to stage 4. In stage 4, we will then give you a clear date of who can then come back to school. We also believe it is going to be a staggering start. So stories or quotes that we're hearing currently is that grade 12 and 7 will come back first, and then it will be grade 11 and 6. They're going to stagger them in once a week, different grades. But once again, those are all rumors. ISASA also asked us to please do not pay attention to those kind of rumors until we have clarity. We hope that as independent schools, because we have less numbers, pupil numbers in our classes, that we will be allowed to bring more grades back at the same stage. But we always need to make sure that we keep the safety of the pupils and the staff and you as parents. We must always keep that in mind as well. Then stage 5, as I continue to say, now we will continue with our online learning and face-to-face classes. We will by now know which grades are allowed back, and we'll communicate with you which grades can start at what stage. But at this stage also, all sports and cultural events or gatherings or any other events that create crowded conditions will not take place. So although we will be back at school, no sport will take place. Physical education will take place, but it will only be events or activities rather, which will keep them busy, where they can also still keep that spatial distance of 2 meters. That is important. Also the School of the Arts lessons that where we can do spatial distancing or apply spatial distancing will also take place at this stage. Stage 6, St. Patrick's CBC will gradually allow the other grades that are not back at school yet to return to school. Again, we will do this with guidance from the ISASA as well as the Department of Basic Education. And again, at this stage, online learning and face-to-face classes will still continue, and all sports and cultural events that will create crowded conditions will still not take place. Stage 7, this is where we're starting to realign with President Cyril Ramaphosa's 5 levels that he's announced on Thursday night. And this is where we are now, level 1, and that's also in South Africa, where we'll now allow more freedom of movement, etc. And we will then at this stage end online teaching, because now the risk has been seen as a non-risk and all kids can now be back at school. And also at this stage, all sports and cultural events that didn't take place, we will then allow that now to take place. But again, we will take guidance here from the President, the Minister of Basic Education, as well as ISASA. And then lastly, that's stage 8. This will now apply once we know that the epidemic is all over and that we are now back to normal, whatever that normal will be going forward. So those are the 8 stages. I hope it's very clear on how we're going to do it going forward. And as I said, now we're at stage 1. And as we move through the stages, we will communicate that quite clearly to you as parents. Then after we've now opened and the kids are allowed to be back at school, This is now for any grade. So as I mentioned earlier, we might probably have a staggered start, and certain grades will be allowed, and ECD, we will be able to allow them back at some stage. That is when we get guidance or clearance from the Minister of Basic Education and ISASA. What will then take place at school? First of all, we need to ensure that we maintain the safety of the pupils and the staff, and again, for you as parents as well. And first of all, anybody that wants to gain access to our school will have to sanitize their hands, and also we will do a temperature check on every student, parent, staff member that wants to enter the property in the mornings. But from a sanitizing point of view, you need to we'll ensure that we continue sanitizing your hands with the alcohol-based liquid when you want to enter our property. Then also, we'll continue making sure that people sanitize their hands when they enter a classroom as well as when they enter a classroom. Then more specific now for the ECD, toys and educational equipment will be cleaned also with the alcohol-based cleaning materials that, of course, are safe for the kids throughout the day. So this will not just take place at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. This will take place on an hourly basis. They will have to be sanitized. And then also, until we've get to stage 1, the pupils will not be allowed to play in the sandpits. Also, again, to ensure that they are safe. From a standard precautions of infection control, we'll ensure that we maintain a high standard of cleanliness at all times on property. We will also ensure that staff will rather ensure that pupils wash their hands on a regular basis, also with liquid hand soap, and there will also be paper towels available after they wash their hands to dry with their hands with, and then put it in a closed bin. Also, this will be provided in all bathrooms and changing facilities. Then also your little ones that sleep on mattresses, those mattress covers will be washed daily, and we'll also make sure that there's no sharing of mattresses taking place. So every child will have their own mattress going forward, and they will use their own cover as well. Then from a food preparation and mealtime, our kitchen staff will maintain strict hygiene protocol when they prepare their meals, but also not limited to facial shields and protective gloves. And these facial shields, I'm going to show you a photo a little bit later. Those are the ones when you go now to Spar and Pick n Pay and Woolies, those staff members are wearing facial shields. And I know that's 1 or 2 of our parents, hopefully they're listening tonight, are actually also Woolies employees. So they all know what we're talking about. Those facial shields, our staff will wear them in the kitchen. And then also all purchased food packages will be disinfected before they are being sorted or used. And then also pupils will be assigned, and this is also something new going forward, they will be assigned their own designated crockery and cutlery, which will be cleaned with disinfected after each meal. So even though they get washed and disinfected, every child will use the same bowl and the same knife and fork. So we're going to mark it clearly. Even though they get disinfected, we'll mark them clearly to ensure that there's no, even tomorrow after it's been disinfected, that I might end up with somebody else's fork or knife. They will all be disinfected, they will all be marked, ensuring that, again, we're trying to keep your little ones as safe as possible. Then also, you've now seen the fabric face masks, and they will be compulsory. There are 3 layers, and we will have 2 different sizes. And for you as for the little ones, and that's why we made sure that the ECD are on their own tonight in the parents' evening. The ECD pupils will also receive that shatter-resistant facial shield, plus they will receive the mask, and the school will pay for that plastic facial shield and the first mask for your little one. Why we're doing both for the little ones is that we know that even for us as adults, this mask, if you already are wearing a mask, you will know that it's quite uncomfortable and it's actually quite claustrophobic. So for a little one to wear that, that's quite a tall order for them to wear it the whole time. We know when they're not going to, although we will enforce it and we'll ask them to do it and we'll train them doing it, but we also know they are little. So what we also do is, that's why we're giving these shatterproof facial shields as well. Those are the shields that the Pick and Pay employees, Spar, Woolies that I referred to earlier, those are what they're wearing, and this is what we're going to supply them with as well. The staff, ECD staff, will also wear this. Again, it is for everybody's safety. Then, as I now just said, we will supply each ECD pupil with a mask and a facial shield free of charge. This is around about 100 Rand per pupil that we are funding. You may buy a mask for yourself, and we really recommend that you buy a mask for yourself. They are 30 Rand a mask, and they will be for sale at our clothing shop. In the meantime, if you already want to order, or make sure we have, you're allowed to, you're all part of the WhatsApp groups, you can already put through you would like to have masks. And then also the second, if you want, we really recommend that you have a second mask for your little one. That will be purchasable. You can purchase that at the clothing shop. And there's the picture of the face mask. And you can see the wording on the face mask: be the change you want to see in the world. And isn't that so applicable to what's currently happening in the world? So it's a triple layered, breathable, soft fabric for a comfortable fit. I did get a question today, that badge, is that uncomfortable? Is it embroidered on? No, it's printed on. So it's the same feeling as the rest of the material. So it doesn't weaken the material. It doesn't create an irritation. It is exactly the same as the rest of the material. We did order 3,000 masks today. Then also they have elasticized straps to fit all head sizes, and it's easy to wear for the younger ones. And you can see that it's branded to show our pride in St. Patrick's CBC on our aim to be a positive change in the world. There's the actual photo or picture of the facial shield. You can see that it's durable plastic and that it's shatter resistant. And that's also, so you'll get a cloth face mask and you'll get that for your little one as well. And as I said, if they by accident fall with it or they bump it, it is shatter resistant, so that we also can keep your little ones safe. Then what I alluded to earlier is that body temperature analysis will be part of our measures to ensure that everybody entering the school is safe, and trying to keep everybody safe as far as possible. So compulsory body temperature analysis will be conducted at all entry points to facilities of St. Patrick's CBC, and that's using a no-touch thermometer. We have purchased 4 today, or sorry, I'm lying, we purchased 4 last week already, or ordered 4 last week already, and they are 2,000 Rand a thermometer. So that is 8,000 Rand that we just spent on 4 thermometers. Persons with a body temperature of 38 degrees or above will not be granted access to any facility of our school. And this will be confirmed, this measure will be confirmed once we receive the final clarification from ISASA. But they already warned us that that's going to be one of the requirements to open our doors and to keep everybody safe, and therefore we had to order it. And we'll have to apply this rule. Then also social distancing will be required. And again, all activities, especially the little ones, in the ECD, we're going to struggle to keep that social distance. So therefore, we already have a teacher and assistant in the class, and we're even looking at how to redeploy maybe staff from other sections of the school that might not be so busy at the beginning, to redeploy them also to your classrooms to ensure that we can assist with that spatial distancing. So it might work, for example, what I'm referring to is that there might be one class of 20 kids like they're currently on a class, but trying to keep that social distance, not all 20 might be together at a given stage. So we might break them into 3, that the teacher is actually teaching the concept at one stage, and the assistant is relaying that concept again, or making sure that they understand the concept, and then they work on a rotation basis during the day. One group might be outside doing their ball skills as well. So it's really going to take really creative thinking from our side to ensure that we are adhering to spatial distancing and to ensure that your kids are safe. Creating seating arrangements will also be implemented, and again, we'll have to look in such a way that we maintain that social distancing as well. And we might even do it in such a playful way that we even still develop their gross motor development as well. Then also, any pupil that shows risk or that traveled, or parents of pupils who traveled abroad and they come back and the little ones was in contact with their parents, or they were in contact with somebody that might have had contact with somebody that have the virus. Anybody that did international travel and they come back and they have contact with the kids will have to go in a 14-day quarantine. The same for the kids as well. So, and that's unfortunately, again, trying to keep everybody safe. I know the South African borders are still closed, but we are talking if we are opening for the ECD and we are still not at stage 1 on the president's level, or we are not on our stage 8, that everything is safe, then this quarantine period will apply. So the question I'm getting constantly is, so what am I paying for? And I hope that the following couple of slides will answer that question. First of all, you are paying for the St. Patrick CBC curriculum that's based on the Independent Examinations Board ECD curriculum. That's, of course, the Early Childhood Development curriculum. And these curriculums, or this curriculum rather, is developed by occupational therapists and various educational specialists. So every lesson that goes home is a lesson that's based on this IEB curriculum. It makes it easier for you that you don't now have to go and look for resources on the internet to keep your kids busy and to still stimulate them. You also will note that we are currently and will continue sending online lessons, and that's compiled by teachers who are the specialists. They know what is the requirement for every age level or appropriate level for each age, or either requirement for each age. And then also, you also still have the online support from the staff member as well. So you all are on the teachers' WhatsApp groups. You're also now on the official CBC WhatsApp groups. And besides that, you also still have the opportunity to tap into the pupil support department, which is on standby also the whole day if you need any support in that sense as well. So that all is part already of this. And the question I'm getting currently is, but we are teaching our kids at home. There's a difference between teaching and facilitating. And I understand the age group that you are in, and I hear what you're saying, but you need to understand that we are continuing giving you the work. And because we give you the work, the only thing you as parents need to do is facilitate. You need to take that work and ensure that your little one are doing it. But also, there's a difference between the ECD and the rest of the school currently. We don't expect all those little ones to be kept busy the whole day. And those lessons can be done in such a playful manner as well. So even that they play, they will learn what they're doing through doing those lessons with them. You also note that today, or last night already, you received videos that looks a bit different from the ECD as well. The staff is now actually doing lessons and giving instructions through of how to do it. And we're going to up it. That's going to, you will see more videos will come out as we go forward, especially next week already. And even next week as well, you'll see the product is going to look a little bit different as well. We as the ECD first had to see what will work and what can't work. And I think we've now got a medium that we see that can work. And so we are also getting smarter, working smarter, the way we're going forward. And you'll see there's changes coming. Also, we've taken your feedback in the surveys, which I'm going to allude to a little bit later. We've taken that also into account, and hopefully you will see your comments coming through in the lessons and lesson plans as well. And also in the same sentence, the academic development is very important, but in the same sentence, there's social and emotional development as well. and everything that you're currently doing at home, besides the curriculum, how you interact with each other, how you currently are reacting to what's happening in South Africa. Those little ones are all currently they're being socially and emotionally developed by you as well. And even in our lessons, we try to give that through as well, to develop in that sense, but you are helping us in that sense as well. But as you can see, we're really giving you the work through so that you can facilitate that at home. Then also, the question I'm getting as well, but you currently have savings because we're not at school, so why can't you reduce our school fees? And there's a couple of reasons for it. Number one, sanitizing and cleaning costs will triple. You already heard that we are now going to give you masks, and we need to probably redeploy staff and employ a couple of more cleaning staff in the ECD to ensure that we keep a high level of cleanliness and that it's sanitized on an hourly basis. Also, we've decided to do the following. As you know, up till now, during holiday times, we do not supply the little ones with food. As going forward for the rest of this year, we will supply food during the holidays. Also, you need to remember that our holidays is going to look now totally different. So June, July will not be a 3-week holiday. It will only probably be a week holiday somewhere in July. But we'll only determine that week once we know when we can start. And then again, there will be 1 week later in October where it would have been 2 weeks. So 3 weeks already are coming back into the curriculum, which would have been holiday. And again, so what you're paying for now, it will make up for what we might saving now. We will have to spend that money on the days that we would have had holiday, but we don't have those holidays now. Also, we would have closed the ECD for the roof replacement, and we are not going to close for those 3 weeks as well. We hope that while we are going to have a staggered start, that we can then replace the ECD roof in that time. If we can't, then we'll do it next year. The roof is no security risk or safety risk. It is only that it's leaking, and we want to replace the roof for that reason. We also don't want to put tiles back on it because they become brittle. We want to do corrugated iron, which means our roof must be replaced. We can't do that with little ones in the building. So there's no safety risk to that roof. The only reason why we're doing it is because it's having leaks, and we want to replace it as part of the renovations that we're doing on campus. Then also, we've decided that we will give you a full service until mid-December. So normally at the end of November, we will say to you, we are now going into playtime and less of a full curriculum, and also we did not cater until mid-December. Then for the last 15 days, that will also change. We'll run a full curriculum, and we will also supply food until mid-December. So again, that will alleviate the perceived savings that we have now, which we don't have, but it will made up in that sense. And that's also, I hope that you see as a school, we're trying to give back. Also, you need to remember that the school fees are part of the budget, and school fees are actually calculated for the year, and it's then taken on the number of pupils we have, and that then gets absorbed in the budget. So although we're asking you to pay your fees monthly, it's actually already a yearly fee that's taken into account. But we know that the majority of parents don't have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 Rand to put down in January for the year. So that's why we allow you to pay it off on a monthly basis. Also, in the same sentence, we cannot at this stage say to you that we can give you a saving, because we don't know what's the impact, what this coronavirus impact going to be on the school regarding pupil numbers going forward as well. In the same sentence, we still have our full overheads, for example, security that needs to be paid, our water and electricity, store plankie, salaries, and etc. So all of that still needs to be maintained during this period as well, and therefore we need our school fees to be able to do that. We also need to retain our staff to make sure that when we open, we have our excellent staff ready to come back to continue with lessons. And as I said earlier, we will supply all ECD pupils with one cloth mask and a facial shield. We've also taken guidance here from the Independent Schools Association of Africa, where they said to us, ensure that we continue online learning, which we are doing. And also, I've got the questions, have we applied for COVID-19 relief or financial relief from what the President has announced a week ago, as well as have we applied for UIF for our staff? Both of them we are running a business, we are continuing. Although we're at home, we are continuing schooling your kids. So the UIF in that sense is quite a technical one, and our auditors are looking into it to see if we can apply for it. And then the second question for the COVID-19 financial relief, do we qualify? Independent schools at this stage seems like we do not qualify, although we are going to apply and see if we can qualify for any funding. So we are putting our line in the water to see if we can. But again, I can't say to you tonight, parents, we will definitely give you credit. We're definitely going to reduce school fees. We're definitely going to do this or that. I can't. We can't do it because we don't know what's the impact. We might need this funding just to pull the school through right to the end of the year. And that's why our goal up till today is to ensure that we send an excellent online product home, and we will continue doing it. And as I mentioned earlier, as you will probably see, that our online product for you in the ECD is just going up in quality. The quality will improve as we go along because we're working smarter. We're understanding now what's working, what's not working for you as parents at home. And therefore, those parents that filled in that survey, you really assisted us to understand what you would like us to send home as a product. So I hope I've answered this question and that you understand that it's not an easy question, and nobody at this stage in Africa knows what the effect going to be on the businesses going forward. Well, we will probably only really know by August, September this year what was the effect of this virus on the school. So at this stage, my appeal to you is please continue paying your school fees. And I know your appeal to me is to make sure that our product is good, and I get it, and we'll make sure that our product going forward is just, as I said, improving quality. Although I would really believe we send a good product home, but we always know that there's always room for improvement. Then what did your online survey tell us? You will note that there were a couple of questions. I'm just going to summarize it. My child is able to access online lessons each day. So 86% or close to 87% of you said that you can access the lessons on a daily basis. And then also 62% said to us, we are coping with the online lessons at home. And here we've taken into account that some of you said that, for example, counting till 10, for some of us is difficult. Can't you rather do a video to explain to us how to teach our kids? And that's not coming. And you would have seen already, as I mentioned earlier, the videos that we've sent out is trying to make it easier for you as a parent to explain it. I also had a parent that said in one of the comments, my child just doesn't want to listen to me, they listen to the teachers. So we hope also showing the video to the little ones, they will see the teacher and they will comprehend the lesson more and listen to the lesson as well. And that's also another reason why we're upping these videos. Also, lesson content, 76% of you are very satisfied with the lesson content. And again, we looked at that, we looked at your comments, and again, we are seeing what we can do to help you to understand the lesson content and to simplify. For example, we might have said use toilet rolls, for example, at home, and once one parent might have said, but I only have 1 or 2 toilet rolls at home, I never have 10 or 15 of them, so it's very difficult to use them. So we're going to start giving you alternatives. So if you don't have toilet rolls, then use something else. We're going to start giving you alternatives what you can use as well to help them to count if that's what you're doing in the lesson as well. And then each lesson keeps my child occupied. For the ECD, that's very difficult to measure because they're young, they are distracted easily. And again, really play with them. Don't let them get them to sit down and they must not concentrate for an hour. If your little one have a 5-minute concentration span, work with that. Make sure that for 5 minutes is quality time, and then give them a break. And then you bring them back again after 10, 15 minutes, and you do 5 minutes again. And if you do your lesson during the day, because I think that's another fear from parents is, but my child's normally at school during the day, and I know that the program's happening in the morning, so I want to do the same. Work with a program that's working with you at home. I also know that some of you as parents are essential services parents. So you currently feel that I work 6 out of the 7 days. I might not be able to do the whole lesson with them during the 6 days. That is more than fine. Do what you can when it suits you. All we want is that they don't fall behind, but at least you have the tools in your inbox that you can use. You don't have to go and scratch for work. It is there, and you can just do it with them. What we, for example, do is we sit at the dinner table and we play a game with them, educational game with them, and do that with your kids. Try to take the concept and do that game with them. There's so many ways one can do it, and if you're really not sure, the teachers is just a phone call away or just a WhatsApp away, and that we saw. You said the teachers address my queries that we might have, and we got an 81% rating there as well. So they're really available. Contact them. Lazanne is also available, who's the head of the ECD. So if there's anything, ask them. That's why the head of pupil support, Dr. Malene Swicker, she's also available. She will also give you advice if you're not sure if you're winning or not at home. And then what was really heartwarming to see is that 100% of you are proud members of St. Patrick's CBC, and that was heartwarming to see. The question about data, I know that data is expensive and not all parents have money to buy unlimited data, but that's why we decided to do it on WhatsApps, the way we send it to you. We also send it by email to you. And I know, and that's why we initially didn't just want to do videos, because we know that it's, for some parents just don't have the money to download all those videos. But it was a clear request, and that's why we're doing it. So ISASA currently said to us they are negotiating with our communication companies to see if they can give data to schools at a reduced rate, which we then can say who's our parents, and you can hopefully buy at a reduced rate. But we're still waiting for answers on that. One parent asked, can we fund parents with data? Unfortunately, we just don't have the means to do that. I need to remind parents as well that the school just came out of difficult days now the last year. And we still need to, we are still in a recovery mode as a school. So going forward, there is not currently slush money to just give back to parents. And again, we don't know what's the impact that's going to be on the school. So we can't just say data for everybody of an X amount because it might be the detriment of the school. So we are, but I do hear what you're saying, and that's why we don't want to bombard you with 100 videos in a week. We selectively with the videos that we selected for the videos that we sent you, but that was a clear request, and we're doing it. We are still looking at ways to see if what else we can do to assist with data. But at this stage, financially, we just don't have the means to go and say to every parent, there's 100 Rand for data. Then also, additions to the weekly lesson plans that you now will find because of the survey is that please make it more age group specific, which we did. And I just had a conversation with Lazanne this afternoon or meeting, and we're even going to do the lesson plans going forward, even more age group specific. Then also, as I already said, we're going to give you more alternatives on what materials you can use for activities at home. And then also, there will be more personalized videos from the teachers, because that's one thing that also came through. Our kids are missing of the teachers. They want to see the teacher. They want to hear the teacher. And that's also another reason why we decided, right, let's do more instructional videos. And you'll see there was now more instructional videos for artwork that went through, as well as story time that was filmed by the teachers. So those are all the feedback on the survey. Then general things that we were asked to address this evening: stationery. Some parents ask us, can't we please just make some of the stationery that you purchase available? Remember, at this stage, we are not allowed to have you on campus. By law, I'm not allowed to have you on campus. The Department of Basic Education, again, made it very clear last week that we must be careful who we allow on campus during this time, because we're not allowed to do it. But again, the stationery will be covered in all the weeks that we'll continue running curriculum. So as I said, so we have now shortened holidays. We will continue running the curriculum on the 15th of December. So all that stationery that you might think we're saving now is not going to be saved, because they're going to be used in our extended days and curriculum that we're going to apply for the rest of the year. Then we had a question about first day photos. That will be made available in the first week when the ECD is back at school. We're even trying to see if we can get it back or on campus earlier than that as well, and I'll let you know. But for now, when the ECD opens, those photos will be available. Then public holidays, a question that I got last night: why did we have lessons today and Friday? And why we'll have lessons on Friday, the 1st of May, both, which is public holidays. First of all, they're not religious public holidays, and that's why we decided to have school. Also, a reminder that we had to close on the 17th of March, which was the instruction by the president, and that gave us an additional week. We would have had, and we just came back from a midterm break at that stage, and we would have only closed now. So we had a week of timing or a couple of days that we had to make up. And that's why we decided we're going to do it today, and Monday we need to make up that curriculum time. Also, as you are asking the question, but we need to justify why we're charging school fees. That's another reason why we are open today and will be open on Friday. Your kids who were sitting at home for 4 weeks without a curriculum, because we said we're now going to take a holiday during that time. But now we need to make sure that they are developed, that the development is taking place, and that's why we decided to teach today and Friday. And I hope that answered that question. And then also, I got a question about 2021 re-registrations. Yes, a reminder that we will always ask you to, at the end of the year, we will send out re-registration forms, and you as parents have first come, first serve. So you as a parent at that stage, that's if you have a child in the 1 to 2 age group and you want to take them to the 2 to 3 class next year, you just need to complete your re-registration form. That's just giving us an idea that you are continuing next year. So yes, there's a natural rollover for you from 1 to 2 into 2 to 3, from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, 3 to 4 into PR. You must just make sure that you complete that re-registration form. So I hope I've answered that question. We will also we are also going to send out a survey soon. As soon as we know which grades can start and come back, we will then also send out a survey to ask who will send your kids to school at the beginning, and so that we also know from a planning point of view, from spatial distancing. So we'll, as I said, we continue with online learning and face-to-face learning, but just from a planning point of view, we do want to know how many kids will be back at school on the first day. We will send out a survey as soon as we know we can open doors and when we can open it for the ECD. We'll send out a survey just to ask you, is your child coming back immediately, or might they come back a little bit later, but you're still following the online learning at home, just to help us with planning and knowing how many kids we are getting back from day one in classrooms, so we know how we need to rework our staff, and also from a spatial distancing point of view, what we need to do. And I sincerely hope that you can see a little gentleman jumping there, or over from one cliff to the next. And you can see I said the challenges make life interesting, overcoming them makes life meaningful. And I do believe that with your support and with the school support, we all as both parties together, we will jump this cliff and we will land safely on this other side, and we will not fall down in this cliff. And that's because of the way that you're interacting with us, the way that you're asking questions and ask us to take things into account, for your support, for your feedback. I really appreciate that. And that will be part of success, while we will land safely on the other side. There's my contact details on the screen. Our email addresses are all very easy. Remember, it's always our initial and surname. So in my case, it's j.trudeau@stpatricks.co.za. And there's my cell phone number. Please take it down. If there's anything, even if there's feedback after tonight, or you might want more clarity on what I said or more questions, you're more than welcome to contact me, and I will respond to your questions. And our slogan that we adopted for this period, we are in this together and we will get through this together. I really feel that we as a CBC family will get through this together. And I really thank all of you that joined this evening tonight. I hope that it made the way forward quite clear what's going to happen, how we're going to do it. And I also hope that I've answered all your questions that you might have had tonight, that I've answered it. But again, if there's, as I want to invite you again, if there's any questions or clarity that I can give you, please contact me and I'll gladly assist. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all a wonderful evening, and I can't wait to have us all together back at campus together as a St. Patrick's CBC family. I know that once we are allowed to be back as a family, we are definitely going to do a picnic, because that will probably be, as a family, a CBC family, if we all can get together, it will probably be in September, the start of spring, and I can't wait to have that picnic all together here on the backfield, if it's allowed to have, if we're allowed to have it, to have this picnic on backfield and to have everybody back and to chat about our experiences during this time. And let's stay positive, and really, really again, thank you for support, and I wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you.